Hello and welcome to VSA Capital Video Interview. I'm Ollie O'Donnell and I'm delighted to welcome back Ian Tchacos, Executive Chairman of ADX Energy, the ASX listed E&P with assets in Europe. Ian, thanks for joining us. You've had some big news this week, so looking forward to hearing the update.
Thanks, Ollie. It's a pleasure to join.
So you've just been awarded a new license off the coast of Sicily, so a new jurisdiction, and moving offshore as well, having all your assets being onshore previously. So, what's encouraged you to make this change?
Yeah, look, Ollie, it's in a way it's back to the future. In fact, probably around 10 years ago, we were in offshore Pantelleria and also offshore Tunisia. So we actually shot about 1,000 square kilometres of 3D seismic, not far from where we've made this application. Unfortunately, after the Arab Spring, Tunisia just got too difficult, and we made the decision to focus onshore in Europe rather than offshore. But we'd already made an application then for this actual permit. But when we made the application, we were going after an existing, a discovered oil field that had been produced for about 4 or 5 years, and then was shut in when the oil price dropped in the early 80s, but we could see another maybe 30 million barrels of it. So we had an application that went in around 2014. Then 2018, after Macondo, excuse me, the Italian government decided they were going to halt all offshore applications for a couple of years, and then it took till about 2013 till the Meloni government got in for them to realise that they actually need oil and gas. So they came back to us and they said, look, we can do this, but we prefer to do it as a gas only exploration play. And fortunately, we'd looked at the 2D seismic that was available to us. We could see lots of gas amplitudes on the seismic, and also some of the wells had also in the shallow section had lots of gas shows. So we thought, well, yeah, given the dynamic of gas in Europe now, we thought, yeah, we'd be happy to do that.
Excellent. So, yeah, big change in terms of the regulatory environment in Italy over the last couple of years with the change in government. So what are the actual terms of the license area that you've received?
Yeah, no, the terms are very generous in Italy, both in terms of commitment, but also in terms of fiscal terms. So literally, it's a 6-year term, but at the end of every year, if you don't like what you see, you can pull out. So the work program we've submitted is we're going to buy existing seismic. We had seismic over the oil discoveries, but there's more seismic we can buy. So we're going to buy more seismic, look to reprocess that, and then determine whether we need a 3D program, and then look towards drilling our first well. But look, we're very encouraged by this because we can see these are shallow Miocene plays, very analogous to what's seen in the nearby Liponi field, which is onshore. That's been producing probably for over 20 years. It's about 90% produced. But the nice thing about that, it's a pipeline tie-in for us less than 50 kilometres away. And then in August last year, you had the start-up of the Argo Cassiope field, and that's, again, offshore in this case, but similar Miocene sediments to look what we're going after here. So what we like about this is the water's shallow, about 100 metres of water depth. We're only 50 kilometres from shore, and the drill depth's probably going to be anywhere from, say, 700 metres to probably around 1,600 metres. But also we can see on seismic, and what's evident also in the other fields is there's lots of stacked pay. So it means you can actually concentrate quite a bit of gas in a relatively small area.
And so what work has been done historically on the license area?
Historically, there's been about 6 wells drilled in this permit, and a considerable amount of 2D seismic, because there was three oil discoveries. So one was actually produced, which was the Nilda field. But what had happened, even after E and I went away after the Nilda field, they were going to come back, so they came back and shot more 2D seismic. And because you've got very shallow, undisturbed sediments, the quality of the 2D is very, very good. But I think I actually forgot to mention what the fiscal terms were, which is actually a 10% royalty and 26% corporate tax plus 2%, I think, local government tax. So pretty friendly fiscal terms.
Mm. And there are some historic resource estimates on the license area.
Yeah, based on the existing data we had, we came up with a resource estimate around 360 BCF of gas in about 5 prospects. So typically we're looking at things that are sort of between 100 to 70 BCF, but we really hadn't fully accounted for stack pay. So we were pretty conservative in our estimates. So I think we're better with more seismic. I think we'll be able to do it better.
Mm-hmm. So are those 5 prospects? Are they stacked on top of each other, or are they spread across the license?
No. They're independent prospects. But what you can have over 400 or 500 meters of reservoir, and these are, if you like, stacked reservoirs. So what we've seen at the offset fields, typically a well will produce about 50 million standard cubic feet a day, which is pretty good for a shallow gas well.
Mm-hmm. And you're 100% owner and operator as of today.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And when do you plan to start work?
Well, yeah, as soon as we can purchase more seismic. So in the next month or two, we'll basically all the data in Italy is actually held by E&I. So you have to have an appointment. You go and have a date. You look at the data and then you buy it. So we'll be doing that probably in September. And then we'll analyse that data, and what we'll then do is look at reassessing our prospect inventory, and ideally what we'd like to do is get into a potential farming discussions. So we think probably a wise thing to do might be to have an independent expert look at it as well. Then we can also make a decision whether we need to do some reprocessing of that seismic.
And how does Italy fit into the wider portfolio and the wider strategy?
Yeah, look, I think in the immediate term, as you know, we're pursuing shallow gas in Austria. I think the next drilling program, what we want to do is really focus on things that are relatively low risk, quick to commercialise. Obviously, there's a whole ongoing work program with the Welchow plays, and we're still yet to determine what's going on within Welchow. But we've also identified deeper, if you like, potential within Welchow, which is almost adjacent to the historic Mollen discovery. So we'll continue working on that. Earlier this week, we also came out with a re-estimation of our exploration portfolio. So we've got a deep portfolio that we're going to continue to kind of work up and look to bring in partners to drill, if you like, some high impact wells. But in the short term, what we're looking at doing is drilling shallow gas. We've generated about 10 prospects that are less than 1,000 meters to drill. These things are typically anywhere from 10 BCF to 3 or 4 BCF. But what we're looking to do is drill the things that are 8 to 10 BCF and then develop them as clusters. Now, some of these things we rated around 80% chance of success, because basically you're following sand bodies from adjacent discoveries, very short distances into our acreage that you can map with great confidence. What we've done is we've done a lot of seismic attribute work and we're very highly confident that these sands will contain gas. They certainly light up on seismic, and they exhibit the very consistent attributes from historical discoveries around the basin compared to what we can do now with reprocessed seismic. Because essentially this was a play like many of the shallow gas plays that you couldn't see so clearly on seismic. People were chasing deeper structures, usually oil, and they'd intersect these things and then they'd produce them, but they didn't really map them pre-drill. What we've been able to do is look at, historic discoveries over, say, probably 2,000 or 3,000 square kilometres, and with a combination of amplitude analysis and AI, we basically fed into, if you like, our seismic data set, the types of attributes that we're looking for, and we've been able to come up with where they can extend into our existing acreage. And in fact, what we've also been able to do in Austria is actually vary that acreage to be able to pick up more of this stuff. So this is like quite a few of the gas plays that you see around the world. Once you get your eye in, then these things are very repeatable and very quick to go after. So we hope to drill the first one of those in the first quarter of, first three of these in the first quarter of next year. But we're also continuing to look at other Eocene oil potential around Anshoff. We've got that permanent facility there, so we're looking to also, if you like, try to feed more oil into that facility. So I think you can say in the short term we're really going for cash flow and profitability. In the longer term, we'll go back to some more high impact, larger plays. And I'd probably describe Italy as that as well, even though we see probably Italy as certainly with reprocessed seismic as relatively low risk drilling. I think what we've seen from Argo Cassiope, almost 100% success rate on all the drilling that they've done on 3D seismic. So probably the interim step for us may be to shoot 3D. As you know, most of the larger players wouldn't necessarily want to come and drill offshore wells, even though these will be relatively cheap without 3D. So we're probably looking at 3D seismic in Italy as an interim step.
Excellent. Ian, look, thanks very much for the update. Italy sounds a really interesting addition to the portfolio, particularly as it's so shallow. So we'll look forward to the updates and obviously the other news flow from Austria as it comes.
Thanks, Ollie. We'll keep you up to speed.